There has never been a medical reason for criminalizing marijuana. Marijuana was criminalized because it was associated with dangerous classes, poor people, friendly. Marijuana was criminalized because it was associated with poor people, dangerous classes. First criminalization of marijuana was in the Southwest. It was in New Mexico, later Utah, and so on, and it was specifically targeted against Mexicans. Marijuana didn't get criminalized in the United States until shortly after Prohibition ended. After Prohibition ended, we had this huge bureau of narcotics and had to do something. So they discovered marijuana is going to do all kind of horrible things to you. The Senate testimony about this is mind-boggling. They did have a representative of the American Medical Association who said, we don't have any medical evidence about this. He was shut up, denounced, got rid of him right away. Then they found somebody else, a pharmacologist, a guy teaching at Temple University, who was doing experiments with marijuana in dogs. They brought this guy in. He testified that when he gave marijuana to dogs, they went insane. Marijuana to dogs, they went insane. They do all kind of things. Some senators asked him, the guy, well, have you ever tried marijuana on humans? So he said, yeah, I tried it on myself. And he said, well, what happened? He said, I turned into a vulture. I started flying around the room. My God, this stuff is terrible. It makes people insane. And marijuana, it was declared by Congress that marijuana makes people insane. But then something happened. It turned out that lawyers, defense lawyers, got the idea and used this for an insanity defense. So if a guy was found, who killed 3 cops, his lawyer would say, well, he had marijuana before, so he was insane, so he can't do anything. And people were getting off on charges, like cop killing, for example, on the claim that they had marijuana. So all of a sudden it was discovered that marijuana doesn't make you insane. Congress decided, sorry, it doesn't make you insane because we want to wipe that out. The next idea was marijuana is an entry drug. It's a drug you take and then you go on to something else. So there was never any evidence for that. But that was decided. And then in the early 50s, something else happened. Marijuana is being brought in here by red Chinese to poison the American population and destroy us. So therefore we got to stop marijuana. And it kind of goes on like this. Actually, the peak of marijuana use was, as I said, in the 70s. But that was rich kids, so you don't throw them in jail. And then it got seriously criminalized. You really throw people in jail for it when it was poor people. There has never been a medical reason for criminalizing marijuana. Marijuana was criminalized because it was associated with poor people, dangerous classes.
Cannabis community, I am Dr. Ram Thoreau, and this is Physician for the People. We stand at this moment in a critical precipice in human history. Babylon has been recreated in the United States. Washington, D.C., in fact, is a Masonic temple, a grid laid out in sandstone, limestone, and granite that transmutes human emotions through the stone temple work into verified actual communications. These communications interfere with the people's health and, in fact, inject anger, aggression, and ill thoughts into the human population. And today, I found one of these ill thoughts walking around. Right here at Cannabis Community is a devil.
Well, I am ready to confess.
You are. How are they making Babylon in Washington, D.C.? How are they creating Babylon out of the United States?
Probably the major portion of it is about babbling on. They flood your brain with minutia. It's like the 24-hour news cycle just keeps hammering. You don't have a thought edgewise. That's part of it. And all of the data, all of the data that we're gathering about that.
The surveillance state.
That's the trap.
Okay.
That's the trap. The more you pay attention to them, the more they get you. The more bandwidth they're stealing from you. They're stealing bandwidth from your brain.
Cannabis community, and that's how it's done. We've all been translated into virtual slaves by this process of agitating us into freaking incomprehensible stress levels.
No, it's an addiction. It's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
These things.
Cannabis community, we broke
People are crossing the street, running into pedestrians are hitting cars while they're on these.
And they're not high.
They're are not high.
Right.
Well, yes.
What do you call the high that people get from their phone? Is it a high?
Religion is not the only opioid of the masses. There is an addictive quality about this stuff. There's something about flicker rate. I think they used to do this subliminal messaging. God knows what they're doing with the bandwidth they have.
Right.
They can scramble your brain with the right set of
frequencies. This was done in fact, in
this 5K stuff is
5K.
just going to make it worse.
Right. So they drove the wild boars out of Korea and the hills where they were doing the Winter Olympics, right, by inserting 5G towers, y'all. And 5G basically uses the lights between your Apples. If you take your Apple device and you put it to your Apple TV, there's a light emitter. That light emitter is the low-fi that's coming in 5G. So the big 5G towers are going to be, in fact, like strobe lights.
Oh, great.
Right, strobe lights
Just what we need.
using a little bit of a
boy.
hard-to-see light. It'll be like you're walking around with a device all around you at all times.
Oh, man.
Now, only the very fit people and only those people with the fire genetics, only the people who have personal growers who know their strains.
My ears ring constantly, and I think I can't answer the frickin' phone.
Right. Well, it's because you're a devil. And devil people don't answer the phone.
Devil people.
One of the things, if you look at the design of Washington, D.C., we brought graphics today, but the devils ate them up. The graphics of Washington, D.C., why do you think
And
Washington...
they might puke.
Oh, they might. Why do you think the Washington Monument's in the form of an Egyptian obelisk?
Oh, I always thought it was a dildo.
It is. It's in fact a
It's
dildo.
a Masonic dildo.
It's a Masonic dildo. It represents the dildo of Horus, and the reflecting pool is in fact the vagina. And if you look at it at the right moment, you'll see the dildo entering the vagina, the fertility ritual. Right?
Well.
All around D.C., in fact, are these Masonic temples to guide you into a semi-dream life. In other words, use symbols. Right? The same reason. Who's got money? All right, let's look at our money. Did you see the shit on the money? The all-seeing eye of Horus on top of the dollar bill?
But it says, "In God we trust."
Yeah, which God? Which God, y'all?
Which God is in
Right.
ascendance at any given time.
Right, now.
Usually it's the money
Now,
itself.
who conquered Babylon? Lesson for the people. When the people
see-
suffer, who conquered Babylon in
See,
real time?
Here's the thing.
Talk to me.
Here's the thing.
Talk to me, devil. friend.
I love your brain.
Yeah.
I love that you catalog stuff like nobody's business. You're an authority. I swear to God, you're an authority.
In a weird way,
Here's
yes.
the thing.
Yes.
The people that I think you're trying to reach, me among them.
Yeah. Well, you're sort of a devil person, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're trying to convert whatever.
Yeah.
This stuff, this details, all the details. If you're trying to reach people that are baked,
Right.
or even slightly fluffed,
Right.
and I can only speak about my attention span, but I have a feeling that I understand something of the average attention span.
Oh, I get to it. You're boring me
when
now.
you're baked. When you're
okay,
baked.
you're boring me, Baker.
Okay, well, so
Get to it. Second banana.
that's kind of it.
That's too complicated. Okay.
It is not. It's not just too complicated. People don't want that shit on their head. And here's the thing.
I'm shitting on people's heads?
No, well, no. Here. No, wait. Let me finish.
Oh, okay.
I'm not indicting you on anything.
Oh.
You're not a.
I feel a little- okay.
You are for the deliverance of the people. And here's
right.
the thing.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Talk to me.
We need to let the Babylonians know that we're on to them.
Yes.
That we know what they're doing. And that's it. That's it.
That's
no more detail. No more detail. They hate being ignored when they know they're being ignored. NFG. No fucks given. Do not give a fuck about these people. That's how they trap you. They trap you with your own head.
So, in other words, unplugging the television is a great way to NFG, not fucking give a fuck.
Yeah, but we can't encourage people to do that. We're trying
No.
to be
We're on
watched.
the internet. We're on the internet. So unplugging the TV, unplugging yourself from the television schedule is one way to not give a fuck.
Oh, especially the news cycle.
And the news cycle. So
Yeah.
turning off the news. Where would
Yeah.
you get your news instead? Like Democracy Now!, Real News Network from Baltimore, some local channels, college WAMU,
Colbert generally.
Colbert. Right, you have to get your news from comedians now.
Yeah,
right?
they're the people I trust.
Okay, all right, I get that. Well, let's go back to who defeated Babylon. It was Cyrus the Great. And Cyrus the Great announced to the slaves, right, that we were going to create a slave rebellion.
Okay.
Right.
Down. Yeah.
Right. And that's what it is. The
Yeah.
only way to defeat Babylon is to do what has been done. Cyrus the Great, in fact, declared the first charter of human rights. It is the basis of the UN.
And see, the economy is our current slavery. The things that people have to do to keep a roof over their head and food on their table and clothes on their kids is a snare. It's a frickin' straitjacket is what it is, and it's of the most insidious design.
Remember, you can never trust the devil. Jacob, when you get a chance, bring us to a video. We'll take 2 videos, and we'll get this devil the fuck out of here, right? Because the goddamn thing about devils, they stink. I like them.
Stinky devils.
Only to light your smokes.
Duh.
And so coming up next, we'll have some more people. And listen, we'll leave the dream time and get into real time. Physician for the people. We'll be back after the cause of disease is eradicated. Devil, out with you. Out. Out.
Cannabis community. Physician for the people here. Let me tell you something. We have a dream. As a community, we have a dream. We have a dream that the plant will be set free. Not only on the planet, but in people. We have a dream that, in fact, the plant and people will be liberated and, in fact, lead. That euphoric, lifted feeling would be the standard by which we handle all human endeavor. That every human-to-human interaction left people feeling good, left people feeling well, that their endocannabinoid systems were always in the lead, knowing that they'd have to remember their actions, that their karma was instant, and that their memory would always be present, that what we do matters, what we say matters, how we feel matters. In cannabis community, we are the leaders of feeling.
Cannabis community, physician for the people testifying there is no cannabis that is recreational. All use of cannabis is in fact medicinal. Cannabis cannot be slammed into the capitalist culture market as just another product. Cannabis is not in fact a commodity. Cannabis is in fact a natural sacrament. Cannabis delivers bioidentical cannabinoids, cannabinoids that our body make. The cannabis plant, the hemp plant, are the only plants that make the bioidentical, exact, identical cannabinoids found in our own body. Not like opiates, which are like natural endorphins, will make you sick eventually. Cannabis doesn't make you sick, cannabis makes you well.
Well, right on. Tasneem, and Purvis. Come on, step closer to the microphone and tell your story. You guys have the most amazing community service in the Blossom Run coming up on 4/20. And when I heard about it, I really wanted to have you on the show and share with our community what's going on.
Okay, well, I'm Tasneem with Gemini. This is Purvis with Cannabis Spa DC. We decided to collaborate on Blossom Run, which is a 5K run or race and walk for people who don't want to compete, to raise awareness about the health benefits in cannabis. Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge mission, and that I'm so grateful to you. For real.
you.
Yeah, right on. What got you inspired to do this? It's not just personal. I mean, you've seen results. I mean, the benefits. What are those benefits you were looking to share?
Well, I have a massage therapy practice in a cannabis spa, so I've been using infused topicals with my clients, as well as using a vape before and after the massage to help them relax and get into the massage. So the benefits of cannabis are.
Wow, Purvis, I got to repeat that because that just blew my mind. Basically, you are a licensed massage therapist.
Yes, sir.
You put your hands on people, and then you put the healing balm of the plant.
Yes, sir.
Right, as lotion. Mm-hmm. Where do you get this? Where do you get the healing balm of the plant?
Well, I actually grow all of my own cannabis.
You grow your own plant to
Yes,
put
sir.
it. So that is dedication to on a next level that I have to acknowledge.
Okay.
For real.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why I can see why you want to share this with the community and put your hands on people in need of the Blossom Run and getting that awareness out.
It's about connecting.
Yeah.
Connecting. Like, the Blossom Run, like I said, like Tasneem had mentioned, we're trying to raise awareness for autoimmune diseases and how cannabis help to alleviate most like pain and healing.
Right on.
So
I like that a lot. So later on in the show, one of the things we're going to talk about is like grow basics, so people can grow on their own, right? And that connecting the dots. So when you're telling people about how it's helpful to them, what other stories can we share with them, like how it's helped? Like, what has it helped for autoimmune specifically that you found that, like, if people knew, they would beeline?
I do have some clients or not patients, but clients.
Yes, ma'am.
That do use cannabis to maintain or to alleviate the pain that comes with certain autoimmune diseases or disorders, and they say that it helps them a lot. As well as I know some cancer patients that use it as
Right.
well. It just helps them with nausea, the effects that come with chemo. So there are a lot of medical benefits and just feel-good benefits that come with cannabis.
Right.
Yeah. It's not just...
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It's not... We want to break the stereotype of the lazy stoner. We want to let people know that you can be active, you can be healthy, you can be productive, and still use cannabis in its many different forms.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're right on. One of the things that I try to explain on the show is the difference between recreational and medical. Now, one of the things when a person has a real medical need, it's really hard for them to get lifted. It's really hard for them to get that high feeling, right? Cannabis is not sparing. I'll just do it. In other words, if you have an endocannabinoid deficiency anywhere, right, it gets sucked in. And people with autoimmune disorders, one of the things you'll notice is that their bodies absorb all these endocannabinoids. I mean, their tolerance can be through the roof. So I've been working with a lot of people, and what's interesting is where the endocannabinoid deficiency orients. For example, I was working with some patients, and they have a lot of gut distress in this case. And remarkably, the edibles don't work, right? Whereas, so I'm asking, with the autoimmune, how do you support people in a way, like topicals is great. Is it the same effect when you get a topical on person to get their, in other words, to relieve pain as a vape? What's the difference, and how do you reach people with autoimmune? I mean, is it always this? In other words, how do you do it?
It's not the same. Topically, the skin is like the largest organ in the body and integumentary system, and so topically, it's not the same effect. You don't get high.
Okay, so people do not get high no matter what you make the plant out of.
No, not from the topicals, because it's not crossing into the blood-brain barrier.
Oh, that's important. So people get a great massage, but they don't get high.
Yes. However, cannabis has anti-inflammatory properties.
Right.
That's one of the things that adds to the helping of pain. A lot of pain comes from inflammation. So, having that as an anti-inflammatory definitely helps, especially topically. Well,
that is cutting edge science for real, right? And you're doing it on your own. That's why I need to have you on the show, because this is the way that we're going to get the public to understand and, like you say, raise awareness. Yeah. What else could I do to help raise awareness for the Blossom Room for real?
Oh, thank you. Well, like I said, it's 4:20. It starts at 4:20 p.m.
Right.
And it's at the Tidal Basin.
Basin.
Yeah, and we are also donating a portion of the proceeds to the Lupus Foundation of America.
Oh, that is bright.
Yeah.
I appreciate your passion, for real.
Thank you.
Look, standing up for people who have trouble standing up for themselves, this is what a community is.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. It is what it's all about. And then you're breaking the stigma, because this is cannabis community doing for the community at large. Come join us, we're saying.
Yeah, come join us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Listen, next week, for real, Jacob, I don't know if you know this, but I'll be on vacation. Actually, I don't have the money to pay for. I gotta go. But I don't have anybody to do the show. Would you like to take over the show, for real, and bring your friends to talk about it? Think about it. We'll talk about it. We'll think about it. Think about it for real, because you are really, Tasneem, for real. I can see your real integrity here. What you're doing.
Thank you.
And I could ask you, come on, and you would make use of this time and really make the most of it. So if you want it, I'm offering it up. Let me know.
Okay.
Right? No, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but either that or I'm doing a rerun. So think about it. What you're doing really is tip of the spear, and I'm really grateful to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And whatever else I can do, I do want to talk about some more, but we're going to go to a break. Mr. Jacob, bring us to a break, and we'll come back, and we'll discuss some more.
Okay.
All right. Physician for the people, y'all. Give us 2 and 2.
Cannabis community, physician for the people. Let's talk about what's really going on with the culture. The ancient saying is that the fish rots from the head. The culture is sick. So no matter how well you eat, no matter how much you exercise, right, the ethics, the morals of the culture that you have grown up in are in fact themselves corrupted. As human beings, we are in large part symbolic. We need those cultural meanings to give our inner life grounding, so that our aspirations really can reach out into the real world and create real results. Right? As human beings, we need to feed our hungers. We just can't read a recipe and feel satisfied. We really need to eat. And in this way, we need to understand ourselves and come to our soul's true needs. And only through meditation can we come to understand ourselves again. And I remind the cannabis community, the greatest state of meditation is cannabis. Cannabis community, physician for the people here, talking about my community, my people. God bless. The plant does reveal self to self. And in the cannabis community, there are so many people who are woke because it drives us to self-knowledge. The plant drives us to self-knowledge. And I'm curious about what is revealed to my community. How did you know? How do you know? This self-knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, y'all. It's self-knowledge, and these times especially is power. This power is the power of the future, because we need leaders who can think for themselves and come up with great new solutions. That's us.
Cannabis community, I have one of the cutting edge, really healers on the planet with the plant. Purvis Rollins, sir, you blow my mind. What you're doing?
Thank you.
Right. You know what got you inspired? What was your first case that when you put your hands on them with the cannabis lotion that you are making? Tell us about some of the stuff that you've seen that people blow their minds.
First of all, like I got into massage through massaging my family and friends, and they were like, this is something you should pursue in life. So when I got into massage, it was like that's my gift, you know. And then once I started massaging when I smoked, and I would be more grounded, and I was able to connect to my clients better. And so my massages, like smoking cannabis before my massage, actually made me as a massage therapist better. So,
cannabis community, this man speaks the truth. And it is hard to get to the truth because you just said something so countercultural but so true. When you take on the plant, you get grounded and you get better with your hands.
Be more intuitive. Like it's like it's not me sitting there trying to feel my way around. It just flows better.
Yes, sir.
And then as far as using topicals, one of my clients was a Vietnam veteran who was exposed to Agent Orange, and his skin would break out in these lesions. And he was getting a cream from the VA that wouldn't really heal. It would kind of heal over somewhat, but it wouldn't heal. So pretty much he wouldn't come out because he was embarrassed and a lot of things. So I made the top. This was one of the first topicals I made was specifically for him, and it healed over and the scabs fell off and his skin was healed. So he actually started being a lot more active with his grandkids and going out and stuff because it actually healed him.
Cannabis community, that is a life saved.
Yeah.
It really is, because that granddad gets those grandkids, the quality of life goes through the roof. That's the medicine.
Yeah.
I can't give you enough points, because going in there to see what's needed and making a remedy that doesn't exist, my friend. Physician for the People Award for the month. Purvis, honest to goodness, impressive.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to make sure people know in this segment how to get in touch with you. What's your phone number? How do we get in touch with you? IG. That's how I found you. I found you on IG. Yeah.
So on IG is Cannabis Spa DC.
Yeah.
Cannabis Spa _DC on IG.
Yeah.
The phone number is 202-618-CALM.
Say that again.
202-618-CALM. So 2256.
Thank you.
202-618-2256. And
call this man. All right? Because the thing that also I gotta hype you. The most beautiful thing about getting work done when body work happens, it relaxes the body. You get naturally stoned, but then you got to get in your car, drive home. You offer working on people in the comfort of their home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We come to you. We provide a vape before and after your service. So if you choose to, actually get high, you can. And then everything we use the topicals. We let the topicals do the rest.
God bless you.
So we come to you.
Listen, all those people are worried if they're devils out there, people working too hard, people don't know if they're working for Trump or if they're working for freedom. Call Purvis. It's like an exorcism. It'll get the stress out.
Definitely.
Right? Definitely. And we can turn this place around, y'all. Cannabis community, we're going to go to an IG. We'll come back in 2 and 2. Purvis, thank you, sir. And thank you for your service to our community, sir. Thank you.
Cannabis community, physician for the people. Let's talk about what's really going on with the culture. The ancient saying is that the fish rots from the head. The culture is cannabis community, physician for the people. 2018 is going to be the year of cannabis. It already is. You look at the authorities. First of all, they're bankrupt. Jeff Sessions may want to make cannabis the new apartheid, but really there's not enough money left in Trump's America to pay for it. The United States is bankrupt. right? Morally bankrupt, and in fact financially bankrupt. And they're looking to cannabis as a new tax and regulation scheme that's going to save the man from the way that they like to spend money. The way that we spend our cannabis dollars is going to actually define the cannabis community. We have a choice. Either we're going to be cannabis chumps and play into the stereotypes that the elite and the prohibitionists have mapped out for us for generations. In other words, cannabis community likes Cheetos. The cannabis community will have to define itself by deciding it is the smart, the wise, and in fact, the cannabis community, physician for the people. I'm talking to you. I'm asking, are you in your power? Are you in your power now? Cannabis community, y'all are the leaders, and we're waiting for you. Are you happy with the way things are? Ask in your soul. And I know when you go deep in there, the cannabis community listens, and they feel, and they act, because they took on their healing. They took on the plant and healing their endocannabinoid system when the plant was under prohibition under this police state regime. So I asked the cannabis community, the leaders, the people who broke the back of prohibition and made it legal and made it the new normal. I'm asking you, cannabis community, what?
Cannabis community. We are going through some of the most brilliant things today. We're learning not only about the plant, learning about the endocannabinoid system. We're going to talk about grow basics with DC Connoisseur. My man, you are one of the smart people that I've met in the community, and today you brought me gifts. He didn't even bring me weed because he knows better, right? He brought red clover, y'all. All right, this is advanced stuff. We're going to get to this. First of all, I just want to thank you for showing up.
No problem.
How do people follow you online?
Instagram.
Instagram. That's
Yeah.
your big thing. Spell it out first again.
It's the DC Connoisseur, just like connoisseur, but with the canna in front.
Right on. Right on. So one of the things we're going to talk about today, right, is grow basics, like how you could set stuff up in your house. The basics are easy. It can take a lifetime to master, right? So the basics, where do you want to start? When I went to school at NYU, first day at school, fucking ripped out fluorescents and put them in my closet, right? Now the closets, right, were big enough that I got a grow going in 1983. Got some bag seed, and I got Mel Frank's first book, right? And we just want to go through the basics, how people can grow, right? Just enough, and if they want to get the expert stuff, brilliant. So where do you start with people? Where do you want to start with people?
Well, for me, it's just I started with the easy stuff like
Yeah.
tomatoes and peppers. Peppers are real good because they're real. You can do them real quick. They're
Yeah.
very easy. They're real responsive. But mainly, any vegetable. They're all plants, really. It's not just like one. You have to only grow a cannabis plant. You can grow any plant, really. I have
Right.
blueberries, limes,
You got lime trees.
lemons. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Anything that I can grow. I have a snake plant right now that's blooming, and it's really like rare that a snake plant bloom. You have to put it in like a completely restrictive pot where it just can't, the roots can't get out, and then it will send this crazy bloom up at night, and it only flowers at night. So
I love that, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that people got to get, we live in such, concrete jungle that we forget living things got to have a cycle of growth, right? One of the things I had for the background, we were going to do like a time lapse of a plant. When you start seeing the plant grow, you start seeing its movement, its prayer leaves up in the morning. A healthy plant will start to give you a vibe. How do you explain that, the way the plants make you feel? I mean, not smoking them, just looking at it.
I mean, it's almost like a sense of meditation in and of itself. Gardening, it's like, it's a whole new. I mean, I was sick and I stopped. Took like a tolerance break for a week or so,
Yeah.
couple weeks. But in that time, like I didn't smoke flowers or anything. I mainly, I had little temper tantrums, but I quit smoking in that time too, cigarettes.
Yeah.
And it was mainly just for the fact that I could like garden and like actually it was just I guess kind of like the process of breaking it down to roll it up, and you just kind of go through with this.
Oh, it's a real thing, my
meditation
friend.
process.
For real. Look, one of the things that my mentor does, right? Acupuncture, Tim Ray, back in the day, he says that a lot of our dysfunction, especially emotional, is discharging ions. So gardening, naturally grounding. Just the way that when you say a tree hugger, the ohms, the resistance at the earth, where the roots go, right, allow the body to drain excess ions. So the bio-cling, right? So all the emotion you're talking about, like that feeling, absolutely. When cannabis gets low, endocannabinoid system's low, I like your style, right? We get hangry.
Absolutely.
We get hangry. Not addicted, but hangry, yeah. So cannabis community, this is the thing. Once you start interacting with the plant, one of the oddest, most beautiful thing to notice, to heal, we can't go back to the way it was before the injury, my man. We can't go back to the way it was, right? We got to go back. We got to grow. And our culture wants to sell us on going back to the way it was, like, you know, before the car accident or before that. But you got to grow up and through it. Now, when you got plants and you're tending plants, you see the cycle that it takes to get a plant to maturity, right? How long does it take an average cannabis plant
Depending
to
on what you're growing in. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, different growing mediums will give you get different times, and then different fertilizers will give you different results. So,
Right.
I mean, it's literally, you can cut the time in half if you use a different soil and a different, you know, grow medium or whatever. So
Right on.
it's-
Right. Yeah, exactly. So just like it would take you a number of months to heal a disorder, if you did it right, it would come out, you'd heal quicker.
Oh, absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so all the things that people need for their healing, right, really the plant represents not only as medicine, but as the process, right, the therapy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? One of the, you know, for real, back in the day, there's a school of thought called the Essenes. And the Essenes preach a meditation with plants to actually get grass, green grass, and it's in the Bible, right, to meditate with it because you, and I've done this stuff, you get the chi from the sprouts. And when I've seen people's grows, it's the same feeling, right? The guy who does that water experiment where he blesses the water and looks at it, changes its aura, the Emoto water experiments, he puts plants around water and the water changes as if it's been blessed like an ohm. Like plants really, I want to say like the plant really is like an angel somehow.
Kind of like I've seen some similar things where people ground themselves.
Yeah. Yes,
Something
like
that.
that. Yeah,
The magnetic field is
exactly.
there.
The plant is emitting a magnetic field that's somehow so identical to our magnetic
Okay.
field that we vibe for it and we get more. Like we go back to our own operating system, for real. So
That
you
makes
know,
complete sense.
all right,
Yeah,
I know,
yeah, yeah.
right? Look at when you grow all the plants. The other thing to communicate are the other plants like the peppers and tomatoes, boys and girls. Do you have to separate your boys and girl potatoes or tomatoes?
No.
No.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So the plant cannabis is the only plant that actually, when you see it, are boys and girls.
And also another thing, it's the only plant that, you know, if I've heard people say that, you know, a little bit of light will turn it hermaphrodite or turn
Right.
a male to female. But like, you know, we get full moons and things like that. You know, it's not complete darkness out at night, even in the dark. So
Yeah, I hear you.
some things are just kind of like, you know, it's maybe it could be, but we don't know.
Yeah, we
So-
don't know, right? I know that there's a local dude who's mastered the 3-week test, right? Test the leaves. When the leaves
Right.
get right to the third level, and he says, "Yeah, I got a positive. It's 90% accurate." Right? So something to it, right? Something to it. So when you start off cannabis, basically, when you grow it in your closet, you're starting off with two basic premises: a veg stage and a bloom stage.
Right.
Right. Veg stage, you can sort of generalize, but basically all your household plants, your normal fertilizers, that covers it, right? So I brought a bag of your basic Scott's Grow. Right, so sort of the basics of getting a grow going. You really just need sandy soil. You tell me if you think it's too basic. Mix a bag of perlite and a bag of regular potting soil in about a 5-gallon tub, and you get about enough for one plant.
I used the sandy soil underneath the grass in the yard. I went out,
Yes, sir.
dug up the yard,
You dug up the yard.
and used that sandy soil to get it going.
Brilliant.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of ways to do it.
You know, I don't need to buy anything.
You don't need to buy exactly. You don't need to buy anything. So the best fertilizers at the beginning really are what?
I mean, really, water and sunlight
Yeah.
is the best thing you can possibly do.
Yeah, exactly. It's not hard. Water and sunlight, and
A little
coffee.
bit of warmth,
And a
yeah.
little warm. So then now, how do you convert them into flowers?
12 hours of darkness,
Bingo.
you know, and then
Right.
extra strong light.
That's the oddball thing that people forget, right? That almost light becomes a nutrient in the veg stage.
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How much do you think you have to double the multiply the light? By 5, by 10? The lumens to actually get it to really make something worthwhile?
Well, I mean, I've always vegged with like T5s, and then I
Like
just
fluorescent,
started, the regular fluorescent lights, and then I just started going with an LED, which close proximity to the flowers.
So how do you like the LED?
So far, the plants love it. I
Really?
mean, I'm getting good responses. So.
Well, you heard it, y'all. LED's coming into its own. We were going to talk about fluorescent, and color temperature, but LED just transcends it, right?
It's just modern technology.
Yeah,
You know,
right
there's trace, even though it's
Oh,
small,
heck yeah.
there's trace amounts of mercury.
Trace
there.
amounts of mercury. If this breaks on your plants, you're fucked.
Well,
no
not
question.
only your plants, but
On you, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
your family, your.
Yeah, let's look at these, right? So, cannabis community, we're going to have another guest. Edible Bongs here. We'll be back in a minute. Listen, stay on. Well, don't get out just yet. Right. I want to thank you all for staying here. One more thing. Tell me one more thing about the red clover you brought. Why do you want to put this on top of your plants when you're growing? Because this is an expert grow thing. This is smart. What is this about?
This is just like, it's a nitrogen right plant, so it'll grab nitrogen out of the air and put it into your soil. So like once you get that like 6 inches of like just kind of fluffy decomposing mess in, you throw a bunch of these in and it just kind of like energizes it, and then it keeps it real low so you don't get bugs jumping up on your plants, and it's easy to cut back and just mulch in and
right. So basically growing indoors, it's artificial because it's in nature. You would never grow one plant by itself in a pot, right? So this basically recreates an ecosystem for the plant.
Similar to what are those dome,
like a terrarium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Terrarium.
You're setting up a closed system for the plant to actually benefit.
Correct.
That is cannabis science, y'all. Red clover, DC Canister. Thank you so much for showing, my brother. For real. Thank you. Everything you say is money. All right. Follow this guy on Instagram. Right. And we'll be back in 2 and 2.
In a godless time, in a machine age like ours, the computers have taken over because people work for them. They're attached to them. I'm talking to a computer right now, and you're listening to me on a computer. The computers rule, and the people drool, suffer, because we're good in our nature. We do good things. We want to be good. So we're being good right now. We're being good to the computers. All right, are you being good to yourself? Are you being good to your community? In a godless time, in a machine age like ours, we have to go beyond the computers. We go beyond the mind. You have to go to what's kind. What's kind in a machine age where the computers have taken over? Are you good to other people? Best way to find out is, are you good to yourself? Be good to yourself. Find the God in you. Find the God in others. Find the God in life. Cannabis community, physician for the people, challenging you to get high all the time. Keep it high. Keep the plant inside alive. How do you make it so? Right? It's not that easy, really. You get crazy tolerance if you try to do it just with the weed. Right? Everybody knows that. Right? The sadhus, the mystics, they paved the way. They told us how it's okay, how to do it. Right? First, you got to set your being on what's true. Put the plant within, deeply rooted into the earth, into your passion. Get paid to play, right? This deep alignment of self with nature, this deep self-care, this is what the euphoria begs. And only in this way can you be high all the time, right? I'm not...
Cannabis community. Right on. Did you see the story in Rolling Stone this week about there might be high levels of pesticides in cannabis?
Yes.
Right. It was an amazing article because it was, you trust Rolling Stone on some level to be counterculture, but they're not. Right. This whole issue is...
It's all commerce.
It's about commerce. If you read the article, what's it say?
Well, there's like two arms of the thing, and they're talking about the black market aspect, which tends to not care about whether there's stuff in your weed or not. There's actually some very serious people who are trying to be on the legal side that want to be able to test what's being sold in the dispensaries and in the weed store.
Fair enough.
You want to be able to put some drops on a thing in the weed store and tell if you're going to smoke something that's going to kill you or not.
Right. Well, that's interesting, right? So what we're seeing now across the board in the cannabis legalization market is this big push to keep it very expensive, y'all. All these steps they're talking about are keeping it $400, $500 an ounce.
And it didn't dawn on me. You told me about this before.
That's part of the issues of this show. The cannabis community needs to know that if prohibition continues to set the prices, $400 an ounce, $500 an ounce, we have not actually escape prohibition. It's prohibition.
But the thing is that I had not grasped before, and it's the brilliance of it. If weed costs $400 an ounce, that's more tax base.
20% of that tax.
The more expensive weed is, the higher the tax they collect on it.
Bingo. And that's what they're looking. That's what Charlie Baker, the governor of Massachusetts, is saying right now.
Yeah.
He's saying, I want the weed expensive. I need that money to pay for cop pensions so I can track down all the kids with the illegal grows.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're saying, what they want to do with our weed money.
Man, it's so cynical.
I hear you. You know, the gentleman brings up a very interesting point, right? The thing I am actually trying to share with the cannabis community is that growing itself is a dead end. It's a cash commodity, y'all. It will in Oregon. It's down to $50 an ounce. That's taxes included. $50 an ounce is not enough to sustain, right? It's not gonna work. So that's what I'm saying. How do we develop? That's why I had cannabis on, right? Massaging people is a brilliant service.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Weed B&Bs. That's the way to make money.
Yeah.
Right? Showing people up, having events. This is what's going to take the cannabis community into profitability. Right?
Yeah.
If we keep on thinking we're going to make money
farming, it's a whole different economy, though.
Right.
It ain't there to support the old economy.
Exactly.
It's not there to make the status quo fat, folks.
Bingo.
That's not what
we
we're here for.
did not fight prohibition to pay the cops bigger pensions. Okay? Fuck that. We will
Absolutely.
not buy this expensive weed. We're growing it, y'all. And then we're going to barter with it.
Yep.
Right? Because we got to stop this prohibition shit. I
Yeah.
am not paying $500 to pay more money to private prisons to take people to jail.
Fuck
Right?
the man.
Yeah, the man doesn't get my weed money. That's the bottom line. That's what I really want to
Fuck
leave you all
the
with.
man.
Right? We fought this prohibition battle for a reason, for our people. Who people have been put in jail. Right?
Yeah.
The left,
Enough
people
of that
color, right? Mexican,
Forget
everybody
about that.
who's been persecuted by the war on drugs on people.
Yeah.
Right? How are we going to get reparations?
It still manages to be class warfare.
It's class warfare. That is the purpose of weed in this country, is to be the bully pulpit of fucking class warfare. California, they legalize weed except for undocumented workers.
Oh, come
Right? I can still
now.
chase down fucking undocumented workers and bust them for a joint. Right?
Oh,
you white
no.
kids? Oh, if you're Americans? Oh, yeah, that's okay. Right? I'll let you buy it.
Oh, they're so
Right?
wrong.
The Mexican
there.
people who come in, who grow it? Oh, fuck
Oh,
you.
that bites.
Right,
That
that's exactly
bites.
what that's about.
That's
Right.
I'm sorry. The proper word to describe it is retarded. I know you're not supposed to use that word, but it's retarded.
There's 10 cents in the swear jar for the R word. All right, that's okay. I know what you're trying to say. I know you're not a bad person. You're just angry. I get the same way.
Pisses me off.
They get me so mad, because that's what cannabis is. Cannabis is the reboot medicine. Keeps me from healing my anger when I don't get the weed right. Right? And that's how they turned us into Babylon, y'all. We'll go back. I'm going to bring it back down home. The real home that I need to change, we're going to leave it here. The physician for the people, no matter how good you eat, y'all, I'm telling you, if your spirit is in the wrong place,
Yes.
that food doesn't work. It doesn't work the same way. But if your spirit is happy, you can eat hot dogs and beer and really make wonderful body muscle tone.
That's
Really,
the basis of my sermonette this week. So
that's
stay
what the
tuned.
sermon is really about, is that
Yeah.
the spirit is what makes you healthy.
Yeah.
And now when the laws of the country are corrupt, the leaders are corrupt, right? With the plant itself, the most holy of plants is denied the people, right? And they say you can have it, but you can only have it to smoke. If it was inexpensive, you'd eat it, y'all. The ancients drank it in their wine. That was the other thing. The ancients had enough of it. They could boil it down and rub themselves. This is the anointing oil of fucking Jesus. I'm sorry, fucking Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus, the unfucking.
Yes.
But, right, it's got to be cheap if you're going to eat it. You can't. Smoking it is because it's expensive, y'all. And I'm done smoking it. Now, cannabis is good for you. Get as much as you can and don't spend money. Jacob, take me out. I'm going to give the mic to my man. I appreciate you, but I got to give it to this rapper first because he's been working all week. Jacob, taking me out. Play me some theme music. I'm mad with anger. Mad.
Cannabis community, physician for the people, asking the quintessential question: what would it be like to get paid to play? The endocannabinoid system thrives on noble purpose. When you and you. When I and I. When I and I get it together. Intention comes from you to heaven, from earth to all. What do you want? Now's the time. You can feel it. Because inside the beat, there's intention. You want to get it done. You want to get it done now. The periodicity of the moment drives you to experience what you think about. And I know you're thinking about it. You say all this euphoria, all this high, it is real. How can we make it more real? How could I get paid to make it real? Cannabis community, how are you going to make your day complete? Remember, it's more than wake and bake. It's about letting the plant within, take over for today for a little bit. When we clear the mind, when we actually let it rest in meditation and take on the silence, what becomes obvious is the endocannabinoid system is rebooting, right? And that really does complete the endocannabinoid reset from the plant. When we take on cannabis, when we take it on, we take on cannabis use, what is it doing? It is rebooting us. Now, for many who have been overwhelmed by stress in their lives, almost everybody in the modern lifestyle, this means that they are coming in unable to reboot because of the stress. Cannabis becomes an essential nutrient, and I'm enjoining you, take the cannabis seriously.
Cannabis community. I was driving down here tonight. I was listening to some really good tunes and realizing that probably something that pisses the status quo off more than anything else is people living their own agenda. And that's what you got to do. You got to resist the temptation to buy into their shit, which they serve by the truckload. And it's like that every day. Not just a week's worth of a truckload. They're dumping this shit in your front yard every single day, and you're supposed to deal with it. Well, here, I got an alternative for you. You are in charge of what goes on in your brain. Your consciousness is your choice. You create your reality. It's on you. You can bitch about all the shit that's all around, and I gotta tell you, it's all around. It really is. It's a lot to swim upstream against, but that's the job. That's the job. And find something to have gratitude about. For instance, try feeling bad when you are grateful for what is going on in your life. The sun's shining today. It's not raining. I'm grateful for that. It's a better day because the sun's shining. I'm good with that. You're in charge. And they hate it when you're in charge. That's the job. That's the sermon.